Welcome to Let's Talk, brought to you by the Hempfield Area School District.
This is Jeff Krakoff. Today we're talking with Mike Arnold, who's Vice President of Operations at SiteLogic. Mike, thanks for talking with us this morning.
Absolutely. Good morning, Jeff.
So let's just start. Your company conducted an assessment for the needs of Harold Middle School as part of an overall feasibility study. We know that it's an old school. What are some of the things that the study found that would need to be upgraded at Harold?
Sure. Yeah. Along with core architects, SiteLogic did a feasibility study of all the buildings within the district. And Harold is obviously an older building, as you mentioned, built back to the 1920s. And although it's structurally sound, it's got good bones. Any building of that age and that hasn't been renovated in a while obviously needs infrastructure upgrades, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Along with that is the what we call collateral damage. When you do a project like that, you've got to address some of the finishes, the ceiling work, et cetera. There's also some concerns with the exterior envelope of the building, the roof warranty, and things of that nature. As far as from a programming standpoint, obviously, if this project were to go into that type of a process, there might be the need also to relocate some of the walls, to allow for the programming that would have occurred.
Okay, so you mentioned quite a few things that would need to be upgraded. What are we talking in terms of cost?
Yeah, so we haven't done. There's not a design for this type of a project at this point, so we've had to make a lot of assumptions, and we do it based upon projects of similar size that have occurred in the last few months or so, and based on that, a project that with the type of scope that I had just discussed probably range between $29 and $32 million to accomplish.
Now, the feasibility study was done earlier in 2022, correct?
That is correct.
So with inflation, the way it's been, how does that affect construction costs and the unknown of what's going to happen moving forward?
Yeah, it's been very difficult times. There's always construction inflation as well as regular inflation that everyone monitors, during the course of a project or of a study. The most recent, year and a half or so has been very, very challenging to try to pinpoint any kind of an estimate for projects. And that's the reason I gave you a range, such a large range, is because, first of all, we don't have a design, and because of the uncertainty that occurs. So that's a number that could easily grow, just based on, the state of the economy at this point and the hyperinflation that we've experienced.
Okay. And I know part of the feasibility study was looking at what facilities are needed. I'm curious. So Hempfield Area School District has a little bit over 5,000 total enrollment. You work with a lot of school districts. Does it feel like the right size for that enrollment to have 3 middle schools versus 2 middle schools?
Yeah, I do have a vast amount of experience throughout Pennsylvania. Our firm does work not just here in Western Pennsylvania, but out east as well. And through all of the projects that I've been involved in, that enrollment seems extremely low. To have 3 middle schools. I have not worked on a project or within a district that has had that type of enrollment and has had 3 middle schools. So in a sense, it was a little bit of an eye-opener as we're doing the study and looking at all these buildings and noticing that there were three middle schools within this district.
So there has been declining enrollment. You mentioned a lot of things would have to happen to Harold to kind of bring it up to speed to be a modern school building. But I think a third piece of this, and you're highly involved, is the revitalization of the high school project. How does the use of Harold fit into the revitalization of the high school project?
Sure. As you mentioned, we serve as the construction managers for the project, and part of our charge is to come up with a phasing plan, a schedule associated with the work that would need to be done at the high school. And there's a lot of parameters associated with doing that. You want to create a schedule that limits the amount of educational disruption, number one,
Sure.
making sure that it's safe for the students. and also making sure that it's very buildable. And what I mean by that is, from a cost standpoint, if you make a project lengthy and cumbersome with its phasing, it will obviously add cost to the project.
Time is money, the old saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we've come up with a plan, and knowing that Harold was an option as far as being able to move the ninth graders to that building, it allows for the necessary swing space, if you will. Keep in mind that this is a additions and renovations project, and the additions, in some cases on projects, the additions could be new classrooms. And in that case, you can simply build that addition first and then move the students over, and then you've created swing space. In this particular case, we have enough classrooms for the high school. What we're adding is athletic space, and there is a minor addition at the auditorium as well. So we don't have the luxury of creating that swing space. And that, if we don't have Harold, what that'll do is it will, number one, elongate the schedule. It will definitely have us doing it in smaller chunks so that there is more disruption overall. It would also it would have us it would provide the need for us to possibly have portable classrooms, trailers on the site. And that creates a couple of problems. Number one, it's very costly. Number two, logistically, because we are coming up with a brand new site circulation plan. That would make it more difficult for us to do that with the presence of trailers on that site.
Okay. So just so I'm understanding you correctly, for the high school project, is there room without utilizing Harold as that swing space for the ninth graders?
Yeah, we would not have swing space. So what that would do is it would have us put quite a bit of work into the summer months. And then we would have kind of a lull during the school year, which again elongates the project. We would, eventually be able to have some renovation spaces during the school year, but not many. And again, that has a huge impact on how the subcontractors price the project and ultimately what the overall cost will be.
Got it. Okay, great information. Do you have any closing thoughts of what parents and community members out there need to know about this project?
No, it's very exciting. It's obviously a major undertaking. I think one of the things that we like to do as construction managers is, instead of looking at the negatives associated with the renovation project, the noise, the dirt, the disruption, we like to flip that on its end. We're here to offer education to any students that might be interested in the design construction world. So we'll be putting together some of those type programs and just trying to assist along the way to make this as pleasant as a process as possible.
All right. Well, thanks very much for your time. That was Mike Arnold from SiteLogic. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.